Let's be serious tonight. You know, people, it's always outside energy, right? Because you're focused inside. And I'm only talking to spiritual beings, talking to people who are tuned in, chosen ones. You tuned in, so you always focusing inward. So a lot of times you don't even be paying attention to any particular attacks on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got sore losers in this world. You got hateful people. You got intentionists. You got all these different types of people, you know what I'm saying, that deal with negative energy because it's contrastal to the value of the positive energy. Just like you got all those, you got a value of positive energy on this side. But the middle of that is collision. You know what I'm saying? So innately, it's like a want to collision. You know what I'm saying? It's a want to collision. But it's a science to this. In order for me to give you in order for you to be real, you have to have my attention. Otherwise, whatever you're doing is where you at. So divine gives you the pretense to balance out that energy within yourself, to strengthen your energy. This is what we use meditation for. Sometimes I draw a blank. And I be knowing where it come from. You know what I'm saying? I can feel it. Sometimes I can see it too. Like when I get deep into the meditation, I'm looking through the golden water. It's like I can see the face. So I be knowing who they be. You know what I'm saying? But it's impressive to me. It doesn't make me go, ah. It's impressive to me. It's interesting. And the reason that being is because an individual will go that far just to affect you. And I think that's interesting. That you're willing to go so far in your mind to bring damage to someone. Now, even when I'm meditating, I ain't thinking about nobody particular. I'm just meditating on strengthening my divine light, shining at its bright. It's 12 galaxies. I'm not fighting nobody particularly. The act alone in its own self is a war. Just for the intention of any negative energy wanting to oppose itself towards somebody is the act of war. It doesn't have to be a person. And the ultimate power of divine light envelops everything. So you don't need a name. You just have to be strong enough to shine that light. There's so many particulars that exist. And there's no need to even get into the verses or the structure of the circumstance because that's giving it power. If divine gave you an obstacle, you're not going to say this obstacle is just getting on my nerves. I got to fight it. No, the obstacles get more intense. It's training. There's an elegance to what we doing, especially when we living knowing that your life is everlasting. Physically, that's indifferent. Spiritually, it's everlasting. Everything is training. So it's kind of like removing the heavenly emotional contact to every situation, knowing that you're in a standpoint of growth, even at the end. once you get to a certain level of spirituality, you kind of understand the fact that when you have differences or you have negative vibrations that exist that are opposing you, just to have that thought pattern in itself shows the lack thereof of the mentality of the individual. See, to have a negative energy in itself shows that you're not able to understand, comprehend, or solve or bring a solution towards a thought pattern. Everything is a thought pattern. All thought patterns end up being acted out. But for the most part, a thought pattern is the lead or the road to an action. Unbeknownst to you, there's no action that's needed. It's addiction. It's addiction. It's addiction to the subsequent pretense of every circumstance. Remy Ma said in one of her songs, she's like, I ain't gotta play the game, I knock the board off the table. It's a fireball to me because it didn't have to say or sound crazy. It was just more of the point. I ain't gotta play the game, I knock the board off the table. Or you're gonna get pulled into playing the game. Everything takes involvement. Once you're involved, then the game is being played. You might not even know you're involved, but your emotions are telltale. Your actions are telltale. The vibration speaks. We're vibrational. So when things hit us, we vibe in a certain direction. You got to understand that something's hitting you first. Slow down. Slow it down. What you rushing for? The illest thing my pops, my real father, ever told me was, you hang the fucking phone up. Why you sitting there talking to that? I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, she said this, she said that. He's like, yo, hang the phone up. Stop arguing. Like, I brushed him off. So I'm still arguing with the girl. I was like, I don't know, I think I was like 17 or whatever. So I'm still arguing with the girl on the phone. He come in the kitchen, take the phone out my hand and hang it up. He's like, see? No more arguing. I was like, yo, why you do that? But it was silent. She called back. I was like, see? He's like, you ain't got to answer it. Don't answer the phone. It taught me the raw lesson of involvement. And that idea evolved later. It started showing me how it was compatible to everything in life. Things that you don't have full involvement in, you don't have to involve yourself in. That's why energy comes to you. Why is people run, go tell you the worst instead of trying to run, go tell you the best so they can uplift you? It's the problem. So then if I'm focused on negative energy, then now at that point, I'm putting negative energy into the circumference of energy that I'm dealing with. I'm telling myself that exists. It may exist, but it doesn't exist by my actions. It exists by that individual's actions, not by me. I'm in control of me. You got to understand all actions are seeking involvement first. There's levels to this. That's why I talk about incremental science. Incremental science. What are you talking about, incremental science? That don't even make sense. What is he saying? I don't need to explain nothing to you. It worked for me. I break things down to the increment to see how it comes in per session. How each feeling, how if you take a needle and it goes in, it has to hit the top of the layer of the skin first. Before it hit the skin, you know what you hitting? Intention. You jumping because you think it's coming. You can't assess that. That feeling you get before it actually touch, you can't assess that. That's incremental. Then before it hits you, it didn't hit you. Then it starts to go in and penetrate. Then it goes deeper. Then you're not looking at incremental value. You're not learning this yet to see why and how your chemistry volatilely mixed with something that might not be in your chemistry, to understand why you shouldn't function with certain situations. I don't have to think about negativity if I know the level of my chemistry and how volatile it'll mix with certain situations that I just don't vibe with. So it'll be imperative for me to stay close to the divine. Being close to the divine is the practice and the processes. What is that? I'm about to meditate. I ain't about to get mixed into that. I'm about to focus real quick. I'm about to go do this. I'm about to go do that. I'm going to pull myself like a rope to the divine every time. Stay away from me. I don't got to say that to you. My action's going to show that. NAGA.